This LEGO Star Wars set really surprised me. When this set first came out, I was like, nah, I don't need to buy this. I had gotten the 2021 TIE Fighter just at the time of its release, and I was like, yeah, this set just came out, I just got this TIE Fighter, I don't need another different type of TIE Fighter. Then a few months later, I decided to get the TIE Bomber because I really needed that Admiral Sloane minifigure, and I also figured it was a nice build. So I picked up the TIE Bomber, and then I was like, hang on, I've got 2 out of 3, it would be sick to get another TIE Fighter. And actually, I've seen great reviews of this set. It's one that I want, and if I could get it on sale, this is one that I'm definitely going to pick up. And when I got it, it was so much better than I expected. The Fang Fighter definitely isn't all that great. Well, it's really good, but it just didn't really intrigue me as much. But again, I'm really surprised by how sleek looking it is. It's really flat, but it was super fun to build. And same for the TIE Fighter. Obviously, I'd seen really good reviews, but I just didn't expect it to be as good as it actually is. So let's get into the actual review of the 75348 Mandalorian Fang Fighter versus TIE Interceptor. This one is 9+, has just under 1,000 pieces, and at the time of its release, it retailed for £90. If it came out today, I'd probably say it'd go for £95. And on the aftermarket, I'm not really too sure how much it's going for, but it only retired last year, so it's probably not much more than its £90 resale price. I think this is another case where the striped box art actually looks pretty decent. I like the sleek background, and then the orange clashes really well. But in upcoming reviews, we will see sets with striped box art that just isn't as good as some like this. Or like that 25th anniversary Trade Federation troop carrier. If you haven't seen my review on that, it came out just a few hours ago, definitely go check that out. I like the LEGO Mandalorian and Grogu in the bottom left. It suits, as obviously it was Season 3 at the time of this set's release. And I like the look of Mandalore in the background with a glow. The back of the box shows off all the play features and, of course, the land of Mandalore. So yeah, it's decent box art overall. You get a total of 4 minifigures in this set, 2 for the Imperials and 2 for the Mandalorians. The Mandalorian pilot is a nice minifigure, but I just don't see the need for it to have a hairpiece. I mean, I'm not complaining that it does have a hairpiece, but it does make me think, why does a random unnamed Mandalorian pilot have a hairpiece when Fives didn't get a hairpiece, Rex didn't get a hairpiece, all minifigures that are very, very prominent in the Clone Wars and didn't get hairpieces. They would have looked so much better on my mocks with hairpieces, and in reality, I just don't know what hairpiece would actually suit them. So it would have been nice to have a custom-made one for those minifigures. And it's disappointing that we get one for a Mandalorian and we don't for Clone Troopers. But again, I'm not complaining that this minifigure has one, it's definitely a nice inclusion. And although basic, this is a very nice minifigure to add to my Mandalorian collection. 2023 was our first time that we saw LEGOs take out a Darksaber. It was definitely an upgrade on the just regular lightsaber piece that we would get, but it's nowhere near the custom ones that we have. But again, it is a nice upgrade. This is just the standard Mandalorian with Beskar armor. At the time, this helmet was fairly new, but nowadays we've seen it in about 5 sets, so it's not really anything special. He has the gunmetal grey jetpack, and he has a nice face print underneath, which represents Pedro Pascal's character very, very well. And that's also something that we wouldn't see on the early versions of the Mandalorian. On the Imperial side, of course, we do have to get a TIE Pilot. It's a very nice minifigure to add to the collection. Obviously, it's nowhere near that one that we saw in the UCS TIE Interceptor that had arm printing. That was a superb minifigure, so this one is just pretty basic. But it's a nice minifigure, and obviously the TIE Interceptor does need a pilot. Next minifigure here, we have a Imperial Astromech in R2E6. It's a very nice inclusion, and I love getting more Astromechs to add to the collection. I do want to make an Imperial base mock, but at the moment, with all my parts being on my Umbara mock, recent video on that, definitely go check that out. But with all the parts being on that mock, it is just difficult to find the time and money to make a Imperial base mock. So if I ever do break up my Umbara mock and decide, actually, I want to make a Imperial base instead of a clone base, this minifigure would definitely be a great inclusion. And once again, I do love this type of minifigure, and it's very nice detailing, but it should have had back printing just like we have with R2-D2 and Chopper nowadays. It is absolutely criminal that other Astromechs don't get back printing, while only R2-D2 and Chopper do. Either way, though, I do think this is a nice inclusion. First thing you build is the Fang Fighter, and I have to say it's quite sleek, but I will also say it's really, really flat. It's maybe 2 inches tall at most, and it might not even crack an inch. But it does look really nice, and it was a super fun build. I liked the use of wedge plates to accomplish some really intricate angles, and the dark grey and white is a somewhat unique colour scheme for LEGO, Star Wars particularly. The engines look nice at the back with some thrust coming out. They only used a couple pieces, but it's very effective, especially considering it is just 2 pieces. The middle has some basic greebling, and it looks really nice. There are turrets on either side of the cockpit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it is just the same prints as the one that we saw in the X-Wing in 2021. But again, I'm not sure, so correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, you can fit your pilot minifigure inside the cockpit, and there is a printed control panel, along with this little control thingy. I don't even know what's called that. One minor complaint is that there is no spaces for his hair base and his gun. So they do just kind of have to sit in there, and it doesn't look very good. That's why I love sets like the E-Wing and the Shin-Hati Starfighter, because there is just overly amounts of storage space for the blasters. And we don't even need it, but it's just a nice inclusion, as it just makes space for all of the accessories. But sadly, this set doesn't give that. Of course, you can just shove it in a box, but I like to keep my sets together just in case I need the hair pieces and guns for anything. So, of course, it does kind of look awkward for me when he's in there with just a couple of blasters sat on his lap, including his own hairpiece. That's my only complaint with the Fang Fighter. I think this is absolutely brilliant build overall. The standout and the reason you're buying this set is definitely the TIE Interceptor there. This is the first time we saw this set since 1999, and it did not disappoint. The wings are on super securely, so if you shake it, like, the only thing that really wobbles is the wings at the end themselves, but they are not falling off anytime soon unless you actually, like, dropped it or something. And that is something I really appreciate about this set. Again, there is some basic rebling to accomplish some pretty nice looks all around these sides and back. You do also get a couple spring-loaded shooters. You know how they work. You flip them at the back and they send out a missile. It's a nice little play feature for kids, and I like how well the TIE Fighter hides them. By the way, I did forget to mention the Fang Fighter also has some red spring-loaded shooters. On top, you do get the printed dish at the top, but it is the same one that we've been getting for nearly 20 years now, so it's nothing special. But it's still a nice inclusion nonetheless. Once again, the entire detailing on the sides is really, really nice. It just makes a really nice look. Now, one little complaint is that it does have this blue sticking out here. I don't know why they can't just make this piece in grey. This is a problem in many LEGO Star Wars sets. Of course, you can access the cockpit with this windshield here, and it is a really satisfying connection, as it fits in between these two curved pieces perfectly, and then, of course, that fits in perfectly as well. Again, it's just a really satisfying connection, and something that I really appreciate about this set. Of course, you do get another printed control panel, which is nice, and you can also fit your TIE Fighter minifigure. And closing it up once again, I can show you that nice connection. It's so satisfying to me, I don't know why. If you ignore the dust, these wings are actually looking really good. You get some simple blasters at the end on all four, and they are just all identical on both sides. The half-stud, half-tile mix does look kind of good on this set. In some cases, I don't really like the half-stud, half-tile. I think they should go with a tile or stud look sometimes, not one or the other. But in this set, I do quite like the even split. And overall, this TIE Interceptor is absolutely superb. It's a great addition to the recent TIE Fighter collection. Anyway, once again, this set definitely surprised me. It's one that I never expected to pick up when it came out. I just thought, £90, nah, I've got better things to spend my money on. Then I saw it on sale at Argos for 67 quid, and I realised, this is probably worth 70 quid alone, with this being worth maybe 20 to 30 pounds in my eyes. So this was definitely one of the best valued sets in recent years, as £90 was definitely a very fair price, although 4 minifigures isn't great, plus even if they included another Grogu, that would have been nice. And this definitely would have been the set that would have included the Bo-Katan, the one with nice arm printing, because the Spider is not a set that most people picked up. It's just not very appealing, the actual build, whereas with this one, if they threw in Bo-Katan, this would have been a day one purchase for me. And I was somebody who never even expected to pick this set up as a whole, and once again, it definitely surprised me. So that's why I'm going to give this set a 9 out of 10, and let me know what you think of this set, and thanks for watching, bye.